Hey y'all, guess what time it is? Are y'all ready? I said, are y'all ready? All aboard. Oh man. Thank y'all for stopping on in. Appreciate you. Go on, grab your popcorn, soda, wine, whatever it is. We are live. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Unveiled Vibrations. Today is Wednesday, August the 26th. And man, oh man, I am glad to be in this place with you guys this wonderful Wednesday. The last Wednesday of the month of August. Boy, August just whizzed on by. Didn't it? Or did it not? I don't know. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Speaking of comments, I would like to introduce and showcase your comments tonight. Tonight we have the lovely Lady Virgo in the place to be. She says, "Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you." Tonight we have Auntie Robin. Oh my gosh, she's here. And oh my gosh, look at it. Lady Virgo said her comment around 8, and then Auntie came in and said good evening about 8:33. Y'all are here, baby. Auntie said, okay, now, what is the true start time of this podcast? It is 8:30-ish. What I have done is started allowing YouTube to send out notifications at 8:30, 8:31 to kind of, because for some reason there's this huge delay with notifications out there. And I mean like up to 10 minutes delay. And so what I've done lately is kind of just let the live just start, in addition to while I sort things out in the background far as getting my links and everything that I need. That way, YouTube notifies you guys that I am live, and y'all know that it's live because y'all see what? What will you see when I'm live? You see my face. You'll see this always up there. If not, you'll see the back. It's up there. It'll be up there. Something will be up there, and the channel will say it's live. Otherwise, it's a replay. Jojo Speaks is here. He says, hey to you, my brother. And he also says, please like, share, and subscribe. People, it's free. All you have to do is hit that like button, please. You know why? Because it helps this channel grow, man. When you subscribe, that's how you get the notifications that I'm live, that when I post something. Or if I comment on my wall or something. I know they don't call it a wall, but the community post. Sometimes I'll post something there. And it's all free. Free 9 to 9. For your entertainment. So, yeah. Thank y'all for joining. And those that are looking to also join, on the regular, please join the Discord, because that's where I post a lot of other things, and it is in the Discord that you'll find the link to join the panel for discussions. And I forgot to do that because well, to let you guys in, on some things, I've been working in another room and kind of recently we've shifted some things around in the casa, and I got a new vibe going on. And my new vibe is I'm working on Studio B. And inside of Studio B is a whole new setup of things. It's kind of going to be my workstation / music production area. So that's another reason for my delay of getting up here. Good evening to you. Miss Kim is in the house. She says, hey y'all. Hey to you as well. Alongside over here, I think it is. I'm pointing to where I see it on my screen. You'll see you guys' comments pop up as an on-screen thread for the remainder of the show. I think that's cool. That's something that our lovely stream has now provided to us. Making things more interactive. So that is some of the state of what is going on over here at Unveiled. For those that are a part of said Discord, dropping the link now. Oh boy, so much to unfold. Ladies and gents, it is with heavy hearts that I had to announce this. We lost one of music's greatest icons. Dolly Parton has left the building. That was my moment of silence for Dolly. Our darling Dolly. She was a fighter. She was an epic musician all together. And there is something I want to share that I came across about her on social media recently. That I was just like, oh my gosh, that is a hell of a story about her. And it is so hard to see that she's gone, man. Like, but our darling Dolly Parton, man, she was here. How she said she passed at 80. 80, man. Oh my gosh. She didn't look 80, man. That was one of my things that I've noticed about her and others that do right by people. For sure. And I got my man here. I know he shot it over to me when it happened in real time. Mr. Dustin Butler.
What's up, Tyler?
Hey, what's happening, my man? We lost Dolly, man.
Yesterday.
At 80, man. 80.
80 years old.
Man.
It's been a rough 24 hours. 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Because she made a good. She was a good singer. She made a good mark on music. She was one of the greatest people in country music. And it's like when I seen that she passed away, it was really shocking to me. It still is.
Mm-hmm.
But it brings me back to what I said last week, and I keep saying it. Life is very short. I understand. I understand she's 80 years old.
Hopefully you can remember because they switched it over. This is the one that I always used to get. So now you have to be responsible.
Yeah. This JoJo Speaks says, I still can't believe she's gone. Heartbroken heart. Indeed, man. It's so hard to fathom that we lost Dog. Because all that she went through.
Sorry, I had to mute real quick, but I'm back. Sorry, I had to mute real quick. But because all this is going on, it really makes what I said last week even more heart touching, and even more uh, heart revealing, and even more heart touching, because life is very short. And everyone knows what I'm talking about. You can go back and rewatch watch last week's live. But it's been a really rough 24 hours, 48 hours. But all we can do is all we can do is pray for her family, and that's what all you can do at this point.
Yeah, prayers out to the family of Dolly Parton. Miss Kim says, "May that sweet queen rest in peace." Dolly Parton was so generous,
but I can't say,
and
but I can't say,
an ally, man.
But I can't. Oh, sorry, timer. But I can't say that Christian music won't be the same without her.
No, no,
it won't never be the same.
Because there was so much heart put into the music, and this video that I'm gonna show and share with you guys absolutely echoes that.
Is that the one? Is that the one from People Magazine? Or is that
oh no! I don't know if this is from People Magazine. Snoop Dogg, shout out to Snoop Dogg for posting this on yesterday. This was an incredible post about her, telling a story about Dolly and how she rolled in the music industry.
Ever heard the story of what happened between Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston, and Elvis Presley? So in 1974, Dolly Parton wrote and recorded a song called "I Will Always Love You." The song was instantly a hit. A short time after, Dolly was contacted by Elvis Presley's management team saying that Elvis wanted to cover the song. Dolly was a big Elvis fan and she was so excited. A date was set for Elvis to record, and the night before the studio session, Elvis's manager Tom Parker called Dolly and said, "You know Elvis doesn't record any music that he doesn't keep half the publishing to." And Dolly says, "The song is already a hit and that's my song. I can't give up half the publishing." And Tom Parker says, "No publishing, no deal." And as tough of a decision as that was for Dolly, she had to turn down Elvis. Dolly was devastated and she said she cried for days. Priscilla Presley later told Dolly that Elvis loved that song so much that on the day of their divorce, he sung that song to her as they left the courthouse. Fast forward to 1992, Kevin Costner produced and starred in a movie called The Bodyguard, and he wanted that song to be the title track for the film, and he wanted Whitney Houston to sing it. Dolly signed off on it. Whitney sung it. It was an instant hit, and Dolly loved Whitney's rendition of the song. In the 90s, that song made Dolly Parton roughly $10 million, and Dolly turned around and invested $10 million into an historically Black neighborhood in Nashville in honor of Whitney Houston. And she even built an office there, and she called the office the house that Whitney built. And she said she did this because she wanted to be around Whitney's people, who she considered her people as well. Wow. Big shout out to Dolly Parton. She deserves all the flowers. Shout out to Whitney Houston. Rest in peace. This is such a dope story to me. Am I the only?
Man, such an epic story. Sticking to your guns, standing up for something, and not falling for everything, even in the face of someone that you idolized and was a fan of.
Right.
And turned it around and made it something positive in the end. That is who Dolly Parton was and is.
Mm-hmm.
She shall be missed. Absolutely right.
But even though she's not physically here, she's still within it. She's still here with us in her heart. Um, I want to say because even though you're not physically here, you're still with us. Um, and I say this almost every week. Tyrone hears it almost every week because it's true.
And
It is, but life is. I said this to Jonathan on Monday. I said, it's all going to happen to all of us at one day because we're not going to be alive forever.
right.
We're gonna we don't know when our last day is going to be, but we have to live our life the way that we want to live it, and some of us can't control what happens. It's like my situation. I can't control my situation, but you can control the people that love you the most, and you can control the people that support you the most. So shout out to Team Jeremy Bryan once again. He's been there for me the whole. He's been there for me a lot lately, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. I would not be sitting on this panel. I don't know where I would be without my best friend by my side every day. I do have a lot more changes coming down the pipeline. As you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't know. I wouldn't be here today without my best friend by my side, and that's the honest truth.
Shout out to great friends, man. Being there for us and, being there for the good times, not only
Yeah, but he's been there for the good
and
times and the
for the
bad
bad
times.
times.
Good
Yeah.
times and bad times. Today he was struggling, so I was there for him today as much as he was there for me. But that's what we do. We're here for each other, and that's what people should do. We're here for each other no matter what happens today.
Yeah.
But that's just the way things are going. We take life. Too many people take life for granted. I hate to say the word granted, but it's just true. Some people doesn't realize what you have until you don't have it no more. And that's honest.
Right.
My life has been changed upside down in the past 2 months. So July and August has been the most ruthless months for me, and my whole entire life I thought I would never be through this in my entire lifetime. But here we are again, and we're going into September. Next week will be September, and I'm on my way to I'm on my way to a new normal. I'm not gonna say back to myself, but I'm gonna say I can be back to a new normal. And as long as I keep my best friend by my side, and he's gonna continue to be there, he's always gonna be there for me. So that's how I get through my days, to be here with him, to be physically with him on a level to where some people uh, need the love support, like the more love and support. And that's like last week I did at the very end of the show. I did get a phone call from him at the very end of the show, so I dropped down. And I dropped everything and I went and took care of the situation, because that's what people do. When somebody needs you, you drop everything and you drop everything and be there, because that's the way I am. I drop everything and I go be there for him, because that's where he needs me. If he needs me, I drop everything. And I know Tyrone would do the same thing if it was one of his friends as well.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Something that had struck a nerve with me over the last couple of weeks.
What's that?
It's been this stuff that is going on with Gary, Indiana. I know I spoke with it last week, and supposedly got their power back.
They got what
Last
power
night,
back?
the electricity
Oh,
was
I forgot.
supposedly returned to them last night.
Oh. Okay, can I ask you a question? I forgot to ask you a question last week. I forgot to ask you a question last week, and this has been a hot topic in the past few weeks. Do you know about what's his name? Oh, he's a big TikToker, and I can't remember. Paris Hilton. Do you know anything about that case? Paris Hilton case about when they was trying to let's just say unalive himself.
No.
Yeah, he tried to unalive himself a few weeks ago on TikTok Live.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, he's going through a very mental health crisis right now. So I didn't know if you knew about that or not.
No, I didn't, man. I did not hear about that at all. Like that was like one of the things that I'm starting to notice. There's a lot of stories that's out there that isn't getting promoted.
Right.
Like the thing that was going on in Gary, Indiana for a while until, other social media platform folks started talking about it. And you were like, whoa, wait a second. What happened? Why weren't this addressed sooner? And then like over the weekend, like closer to the weekend of last week, we found out that Memphis was going through a similar thing that Gary, Indiana was going through. And we were like, wait. There's a pattern going on here. What is going on with that? And why? And it starts to shed a light on some things, in my opinion, that there is a greater divide in this country than we may have been privy to. The have and have-nots divide. And amongst them is not only, people of color, but people of disability as well. I recently came across a video. Where is it? That I wanted to share this young lady's story.
Sure.
Because it is definitely here we go. It is showcasing there is a issue with these people. And the issue is they simply don't care. This young lady, she's disabled. I want y'all to hear this story. Like, and this is one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up, because there is a problem.
There's a divide.
And when we're not talking about
there's a divide in this country. The people that there's a lot of people that will support you, but there's also a bigger divide than what you realize.
When it's not talked about, that divide becomes normalized.
Right.
Disability has ended. I am no longer disabled. Like I said, I think it's weird because...
Oh my gosh, did you guys know that when you make over $1,650 a month, you're no longer disabled? There's this funny thing called the Trump administration. They're really good at making things disappear, especially the things that people need to survive. Nikki Walsh is in a wheelchair, has a job, and is now losing her disability benefits because she makes more than $20,280 a year. That's too much in the eyes of Trump, who made $2.2 billion last year, but it's not enough to afford to live. The average rent is about $1,700 a month. Food is another $847 a month. But don't worry, Trump's got a plan. Make disability checks disappear. Make food assistance disappear. And then leave people to figure out the rest while he sits in his golden Oval Office. Disabled people have to account for medication, transportation, doctor's visits, along with other costs that it takes for them just to live. It's not like Nikki stopped being disabled. She is very much still in a wheelchair. But because her income passed a threshold that's barely enough to live on, her disability benefits disappeared. And even if you don't make over the income limit, you could still lose part of your disability check. Trump is proposing a new rule that could cut SSI for disabled people who live with their family, even if their family needs food assistance. So it doesn't matter if you make enough or you make too little and live with your parents who are also struggling. Trump still wants to make the lives of disabled people harder by cutting the benefits they rely on.
My disability has ended.
To hear that phrase come out of this young lady's mouth, it makes me so angry.
They're doing the same thing to me.
Because there are so many people out here that are unaware of the circumstances and voted for this to happen.
Yeah.
And because it's not happening to them, they could care less. They're not affected by it. It doesn't matter to them because that is not the narrative, that is not their story.
Right.
Until it does affect them.
Yep.
Or somebody that they know directly. And they're like, oh my gosh, I never knew. It's because you go around with blinders on.
Why do you think I sit here every week and tell my story? Because if you don't tell my story, then it ain't going to be out here. It needs to be out here and they need to be known about.
And what angers me is we talk about the quality of life in this country. We talk about having the ability to pursue happiness. But then we say, oh, the buck stops here with these circumstances. Because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Not considering the full picture of the situation at hand at all. This young lady is going to work, doing her best to be a productive, quote unquote, member of society and pull herself up by her own bootstraps. And y'all say, nah, we're going to squash you down even more. The very thing that will give her some bit of stability, you want to take away. And why?
Because they don't care.
Because you can? Or is it this notion that you drummed up and dreamt of saying that these people are living off of
the government?
And I don't think it's fair that they get to live off of the government because of X, Y, Z, whatever you make up. But you're a billionaire, a millionaire. What does it do to you? You're not even paying for it in your taxes because 9 times out of 10, you evaded the cost of tax.
You can say that again.
And you found other loopholes so you would not have to be taxed or pay it at all. So it's not money that's coming from you that they're being able to stabilize their lives with. Why does it matter? Why would you want to take from the people that are in need?
Yeah.
It's a conversation that I would love to have with them to really understand the psychological, pathological, whatever logical reason behind that. To restrict somebody else from being able to get ahead in their lives.
So they want you to be miserable.
Making their lives miserable. Even more.
That's just like,
and for what? For what, people?
mm-hmm.
You done stabbed them. Now you're twisting the knife. Now you just prying it around all kinds of places. And you're like, well, they should earn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How can you expect someone to earn something that you're no longer going to have there? That isn't available to them in the first place. It's why these programs were created in the first place. To even the playing field. But to you, you're like, oh, no. So is it their fault that they're in the wheelchair? Is that what you're trying to beat around the bush with? It's their fault that they're in the conditions that they are in? Or you want to blame their family for the conditions that they're in? But then tell them they got to solve it themselves with no resources, no help, no nothing.
Like myself.
And how long do you expect that to continue on before rigor mortis sets in? Before it becomes, I hate to say it, a cancer to everything around them.
I already have scoliosis, hip dysplasia, and cerebral palsy, and it's painful enough.
Because what they're going through affects us all. If you don't think so, just consider this perspective. The person that once was able to pay for health care, pay for their house, pay their taxes, and because of your decision politically are not able to do any of those things anymore. Now you have somebody that's potentially unhoused, someone that is unable to afford any care at all. Their home is now foreclosed on because they can't afford the amenities to sustain that because of that. It becomes a downhill spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have enough of that happening within the community, guess what happens?
We all fall apart.
We all begin to fall down. The notion that that is too liberal for this country, unpopular opinion. That is unchristian-like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if your opinion is, I'm a Christian and I'm for Christian values, except for when this subject comes up. What you're saying negates your actions. to say that you're acting Christian, but then you say you're against all of this because it's a liberal, whatever you want to make it. You're contributing to the problems of this society with that way of thinking, that framework of thinking. Like, I'm not sure if you're aware of how that will affect you eventually. Just say if your community was a population of 1,300 people and 300 of that was people with disabilities. That's a pretty sizable chunk of your community. Now, when that 300 begin to affect everybody in terms of not being able to contribute to society, quote unquote, the way that you guys desire, somebody has to pick up the slack where they're not able. So now those thousands of people have to work even more. When simply we could have provided for the few, so the many wouldn't have to. That's what balance is. That's where being liberal works in society. That's where the Christian thing of making sure that my fellow man doesn't go without works. That's where the needy and the poor portion of Christianity becomes a mission for us. And this notion of, hey, well, they're just going to have to figure it out. As you strip away the tools that they need, the resources that they need, why does that make sense to some of you?
It don't make sense to me.
If someone was able to receive food stamps, I know people talk about food stamps as this thing where people are taking advantage of the system and they're overutilizing it and they're manipulating and they're doing this, that, and the third. That's not everybody. That is a small portion, a very small portion. Why did they do that? It's not about, in my opinion, it's not as black and white as people are trying to portray it as, where people are purposely not working. They're purposely only doing but so little so everybody else will have to pick up the slack. No. People want to get ahead in life. People want to have more and do more.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do but so much with so little. Can you? And it just makes me wonder, how far are y'all willing to go to hurt people? Because that's what we're doing. We're hurting people more than we helping. And people might be like, oh, well, whatever mumbling they may have with it. But don't come back to me and say all lives matter. And you're for taking away from people. Especially people with disability. Especially the elder. I will admit, there needs to be a severe reform in how people get qualified for these programs. Absolutely. It needs to be reformed.
I do agree that it needs to be reformed, but they don't need to be taken completely away.
But to take it completely away is unresponsible. I mean, irresponsible. It's irresponsible. And for those that be like, well, I shouldn't be held responsible for them. Tell that to your grandmama that's on Medicaid. And Medicare. And living on Social Security. One check a month. And her grocery bill is $400 a month. And she only gets $600 a month in benefits. And she's trying to still pay on that 30-year mortgage after retirement, because her health declined so much that she had to retire. Tell that to your grandmama and come back into me and have the conversation then of how you feel about the system. That might not be your situation, but there is people out there that are in that situation. And you're like, that's preposterous. No, it is a reality that you're not aware of. Because you're not aware of the reality doesn't mean that the reality does not exist.
Like me, I'm in this situation, my situation.
The reason why I say these things and bring it up the way that I bring it up is because I saw it happen in real life to my very own grandmother, who was on a pension, could not get Social Security because she was on a pension, because the government deemed it sometime way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that it's double dipping to get both. My grandmother, who was hearing impaired, held her own in a society that kept moving the goal line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here where I am without that woman. and all that she went through.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know this. My grandmother grew up as a sharecropper. The family was sharecroppers. If you don't know what sharecroppers are, that was the system that was in place post slavery
Mhm.
for many African Americans in the South. That was their means of providing for their families. The principle and concept was you work and till to this land, we will pay you a small portion for that. The other portion of it will go towards paying off the land that we allow you to reside on. And for many of them that endured that time period of life, they never got ahead because that goal line got moved back. Because the landlord, farm owner would say, my expenses went up, so therefore your cost goes up. But the amount that I pay you remained the same.
Say that again. You can say that again.
It was essentially the gateway to what led to minimum wage. You can argue me on that if you want to. I don't care.
I'm
That
not
was the
gonna argue.
gateway
I'm
to
not gonna.
minimum wage. Minimum wage has not increased since the 90s. It has been stuck at $7.25. $7.25 for decades. Yeah, companies have been able to pay more than the $7.25 minimum wage. Why? Because they've been charging more. And therefore, they've taken on more profits. The cost of living has gone up, yeah, tremendously. But wages hadn't been keeping up with the cost of living increase.
Nope.
We have a president right now that is going back and forth with our neighboring country, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
in a tariff war. Tit for tat. Back and forth they go. And why? Because he believes he can. And what was like the absolute reason for it in the first place? I wonder. To quote unquote raise money for America is what he campaigned on. And from the tariffs, the Americans were going to receive these checks, rebate checks. The only people that had received a return from these tariffs were the companies that paid the tariffs, not the American people that paid the price hike, the increase on the prices going up. And here was what was so funny about, oh, you guys are going to make so much money. There's going to be so much money coming. He never said who was going to receive that money. Did he? I'm going to stop talking for a second about this because I'm going to let a few people talk about what's this back and forth between Canada and the United States. Because it's obvious, people that don't believe me. You don't believe me.
It's the middle of the night right now, and Canada just suspended all trade negotiations with the United States because Donald Trump kept trying to screw them. Just moments ago, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney put out this statement saying that they've been working on a trade deal with the United States trying to achieve these things, and that the relationship with America will never be the same because Trump has ruined it. And he says, however, the progress has not been enough for Canadians. As a result, this evening, I've decided to suspend all trade negotiations with the U.S. and have directed negotiators to return to Canada. At midnight tonight, the United States intends to impose a 50% tariff on $28 billion of Canadian goods, and Canada will match those tariffs dollar for dollar to protect our workers and businesses. Just like that, the United States is in yet another trade war with Canada, all because Donald Trump wants to push away our allies. It's insane. It's the middle of the night.
It's insane. And then he has this unction that we're going to make Canada the 51st state, a whole country, an entire country, a 51st state. So he wouldn't have to pay tariffs on imports. But he's not the one that's paying it. The businesses that are conducting these transactions back and forth. And then so he then goes around and starts messing with stuff that he shouldn't be messing with, like beef, because supposedly the cost of beef in the United States from American homegrown cattle is too high. And you want to now import into our country foreign meat to quote unquote balance the market.
Which countries did you make that deal with? What are the sources of the beef deal?
I don't want to say which countries, but there are a few countries, but they're going to be sending in the highest quality beef, and it's something that we need. What else?
So he's importing foreign beef but he doesn't want to tell us which country he's importing the beef from. Isn't that a little weird?
I don't want to say which countries, but there are a few countries.
Like really, really weird. What's even weirder is in 2015, Congress passed something so they would hide the country of origin labeling. They used to label where the beef came from, but apparently the World Trade Organization deemed that it was discriminatory towards our trading partners like Canada and Mexico. And apparently Congress was afraid of tariffs. So then they took the labels away. So we don't know where the beef came from. And now Trump's importing foreign beef, but doesn't want to tell us where it's from because that's just a totally normal thing for a president to say. Now, online people are noticing that China rejected a massive beef shipment from Argentina after detecting a banned antibiotic, and people are speculating that Trump might be importing Argentinian beef because they found this video from last year.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can, but don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying.
They are dying. Argentina has arguably the most questionable practices when it comes to their cattle. What are they being fed? How they're being kept? How they're processing the meat for the byproducts and all that. For another country to reject their meat in trade because of some chemicals that were utilized in the process of creating said meat, to not raise a red flag or concern to the United States president, says one thing: he got his hands in the cookie jar. And when he has his hand in the cookie jar, he wants to benefit from it.
Can I go ahead? Can I say something to him? Real quick?
Sure, man.
He wants to benefit from it because he wants the money out of it. And that's all it boils down to. He wants the money out of it. And if it didn't have the money, he wouldn't be United States president. He wants all the money he can get. That's my opinion. And that's it.
And there's an even bigger issue at hand.
Sure.
Trump started a trade war with Canada over the weekend. Canada is one of our largest trading partners and closest allies, and Trump is imposing 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods. Now, remember, the tariffs Trump imposes are taxes on Americans. No matter what he falsely claims, they are not paid by the other country. They are paid by the American importer, with the cost almost entirely passed on.
The American importer pays the tariff. The American importer pays the tariff, not the country where it's coming from, not the country that sends the products. The company that receives the products pays the tariffs. Guess what happens? That cost is passed on to you.
On to the people.
Onto the American consumer. And we consume a lot of things from Canada, so your life is about to get more expensive because of Trump. Yes, even more expensive.
This was surprising to me because a lot of people has these people out here that are totally uneducated about things in this society have no clue what we get from Canada. And there's nothing we get from Canada. What Canada has nothing that we need, is what they will say out of their mouth. Listen to this.
One of the things that we get a lot of from Canada is lumber. And the increased cost of lumber is going to drive up the cost of home construction and thereby drive up the cost of housing.
Lumber. What is lumber? It's wood. What are houses made out of? Mostly wood.
This table that I'm using is made out of wood too.
Furniture's made out of wood. Boats are made out of wood. For you to say that we don't get anything from Canada, we got all we need here in America. Grade A American made. No. It can be built here in America, yes, but it's not all American made. The reason why we get trees from Canada is because we have run out of space to grow trees. We don't have the land or the conditions of the land to grow trees in the amount that we need as a country.
So that again.
This is why we have a trade agreement with Canada to supply. Because what? Canada has a vast amount of forest. And they plant trees all the time.
They plant a lot of trees. Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of farms for just trees, in which we go buy said trees to create lumber for houses. Why? Because everybody wants the house eventually in their lifetime, including me. Well, guess what? Nobody wants an old house. So now new houses have to be built. New apartments have to be built. When population grows in the area, they must expand resources. This is why Walmarts go up, Best Buys, and all these other stores go up. Guess what? They need building materials to create those stores. 9 times out of 10, they're using lumber or steel of some kind. And guess what? They're not getting it from where? Here in the United States. Where are they getting it from, man?
Cars are likely to get more expensive because the American auto industry is so interconnected with Canada. The price of gas is likely to get even more expensive because even though the US is the world's largest oil producer, we still import a lot of oil from Canada. Now, reportedly, one of the big sticking points in the negotiations is that Trump wanted to push back against Canadian efforts to protect the French language in Canada and Quebecois culture. Trump is against those things, seemingly as part of his insistence that he wants to make Canada the 51st American state, even though Canadians do not want that at all. But forcing himself on others against their will is apparently just what Trump does. Now, in other tariff news, Trump has announced that he is...
Cars are made with steel. We get a lot of that from Canada.
Thank you.
Too. Like, we done talked about the beef, but I wanted to bring that up so people understand that this is a big deal. Going back and forth with Canada.
And this is why our technology companies are struggling to make ends meet right now as well.
And diluting the market with foreign beef is hurting American cattle farmers who Trump promised he wasn't going to mess with them. In fact, he said they will be able to thrive in his economy. And look what he done did. He done messed them over. Messed them over, man. And it's like, for what, man? Because he's in on the profits. He
is removing tariffs from 300,000 tons of imported beef. And he's doing this to lower the cost of beef because beef prices are at a record high during his presidency. Now, this is interesting because this means that Trump seems to get it on some level. He has been lying and saying that tariffs don't drive up the cost of things for Americans. Well, clearly they do, and clearly he knows that. Otherwise, why would he be removing tariffs as a cost-cutting measure? Now, he's also promising that this imported beef will be sold at a 25% discount. It's unclear that the president has any authority to set beef prices, but if he somehow actually manages to do that, that will be a major FU to American cattle ranchers who are already struggling right now because of many things, including a screwworm epidemic that seems to be spreading because the Trump regime fired the scientists whose job it would have been to stop the screwworm. Now, your final tariff story is that these corporations and others have been getting major payouts worth billions of dollars to refund them for the illegal tariffs that they paid. But you know who's not getting any money back? The American consumers who paid those prices already. Trump started a
I know it is crazy. And we're only hearing one side of the story from the Americans. Hold on, I got you though. You got to hear this from Canada directly.
I know you haven't had an opportunity to see this, but we were just looking at a very fresh post here from President Trump on Truth Social, taking aim at you personally, taking shots at you, suggesting you should fall in line, that you're a flunky of the Prime Minister. Do you want to respond?
Telling Canada's leaders that they are flunkies and and calling them weak and everything. Like, what? What?
Onto these shots, what would you say to the president?
No, I don't respond to a dictator like President Trump, a bully like President Trump. As I said before, he's the type of guy in school that would take your lunch money one day, take your toque off your head the next day, and then steal your running shoes. But I'm not going to take any advice off a guy that's the king of bankruptcies. And he's actually tariffing his own people, taxing his own people. And I'm going to make sure I communicate through the U.S. media. I'm going to be reaching out to every single governor, every single senator, and every single congressperson. And when it comes to the midterms, I have a message to the Americans. Don't vote in a person that's going to kill your jobs. He ran on creating more jobs. Last time I checked, jobs went down in the U.S. and Ontario created more jobs. He ran on reducing the cost of living. Last time I checked, food's more expensive down there. Homes are more expensive. And the reason homes are more expensive because he has a tariff on our lumber, which 33% of all homes that are built in the U.S. use Canadian lumber. So I'm not going to take lessons off President Trump. He's the last guy that I would take any lessons off. And it's about Team Canada. Well, we'll see how this goes. But if he wants to put pain on Canadians, we'll leverage every bit of pain we possibly can on Americans. And you know what I feel bad for? I've always said I love the American people. I still stand by that statement because there's a lot of people in the U.S. that are calling me saying, way to go, keep going. You know, your own people, President Trump, don't even like you. And they're going to speak loud and clear when it comes to the midterms. And if I was allowed to, I'd be down there door knocking.
This is one of the leaders up in Canada talking back to Trump like, hey, bro, don't come to me with that BS. What you think about that, Dustin?
I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's eye-opening. I think this whole situation with Donald Trump, or whatever you would like to call him, President 47. I think this whole situation is very eye-opening, and it's very sad. This is almost the end of. We're getting closer to the beginning of the middle of the year, and we're getting closer to the holiday season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the prices are only going to go higher, even before the holidays even. So
the notion that increasing the prices is making things better because they're getting more profits is absolutely just idiotic to me. You're absolutely an idiot. Of course, you're going to make more profits when things are more expensive.
But you also got to pay more.
You got to pay more for the resources. The only way that you're not going to pay more for the resources is if you find some loophole, some magic door, some magic wand to cut your costs, cut your losses. And how would you do that? How would you do that? By giving a rebate to. So if right now under tariffs, my cost is $5. It used to be $2.50. Trump is giving a rebate refund for the illegal tariffs increase back to the companies that paid it for the amount that they had to pay over. So if my original cost was $2.50 and I'm paying $5, you're telling me you're gonna give me back $2.50 for paying the $5, right? So I'm back at my original cost. But I've increased the cost to the consumer. What are we doing here?
It's a mess.
We're robbing. We're robbing the people.
And all I can say to you, and all I can say to the people on this lifetime run is we got to stay prayed up and stay close to the people that love you the most.
We're gonna make it through this.
Are we though? I'm kind of wondering.
I've been wondering what is really going on behind the scenes, and something that came up very interesting was this conversation that happened behind closed doors and people found out about it with Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner.
I've seen that too.
What are you over there doing talking to these people right now, Hakeem? We know that you're the minority speaker. Are you trying to get ahead of things this fall? Potentially seeing that things will swing in the Democrats' favor and their rebound into control of Congress, that you're trying to do early negotiations.
So you think he's trying to do this to get back in the House Speaker seat?
Well, that's the thing. If the Democrats are back in majority and control of the House and the Senate, he will be the Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this, I have to go to my buddy old pal, Don Lemon, who absolutely blew this up, and rightly so. Rightly so. He needed to.
Also, I want to
update for you.
Also, I want to say, I think if Don Lemon is listening, I think Don Lemon needs to be a guest on this show, because I think I have a lot of questions for Mr. Don Lemon. I do support him very heavily, Tyrone.
Yeah,
I support his show very heavily, and I love Don Lemon. I support Don Lemon very heavily. I always did when he worked for CNN, and I think that he's a very knowledgeable person to be a guest on this show in the future. So if you think if Don Lemon, if you're listening, I think you need to have we need to have a special show, and you need to be on it, because I think Mr. Tyrone and I have a lot of questions for you. I think I have a lot of questions.
That would be an interesting conversation, because there are some areas I would love to debate Don Lemon on, and
even though I have been asked to be a guest on his show.
Oh, really?
In the future,
nice.
And I plan on doing it. I don't have a set date yet, but I do plan on doing being on his panel.
Because I'm open. I'm definitely open to have a conversation with somebody like Don Lemon, even Jenk from the Young Turks. Like, there are stories out here that deserve to be spoken on in depth,
right?
And one thing I will say like this, I do love the fact that the internet allows us to come together on these conversations. And I love that we're able to find resources about these conversations and kind of, showcase the many layers of these conversations, like Don is talking about here.
For you, Hakeem Jeffries is responding to all the talk about his meeting with Jared Kushner. Remember, I told you about the meeting a couple of days ago. I told you that I reached out to Jeffries' team because people wanted to know why that meeting happened. They told me, the team did, it was about affordability and trying to get away from this my way or the highway approach. Okay, now Jeffries has put out a video defending himself. Watch.
I want to give you a little real talk on this Jared Kushner situation. He asked for a meeting, and I took it to discuss the affordability crisis that exists, that is not a hoax. At the same period of time, I shouldn't have to say it, but I am. No one is going to get a pass. We're going to hold every single member of the Trump cartel accountable.
So he says he is not giving the Trump cartel, his words, a pass. And look, I actually think there is a real debate here. If Jeffries wants to be speaker, he's a minority leader now. He's going to have to sit down with people he does not agree with. That is part of governing. That's part of the job. But Jared Kushner is not just anybody. So people are naturally going to ask what came out of that meeting. And that's really where I am on this. And I think where most people are. I don't think taking a meeting automatically means that he did something wrong. What everyone wants to know is what came out of that meeting. What do y'all think? Should Jeffries have taken the meeting?
I'm with you on this one.
Okay, so if you saw the headline.
I'm definitely with you on that, Don, because here's an issue that I do have with it. If you went into this meeting showcasing whatever cards that you had in your hand to kind of drum up some type of fear in this Trump administration heading into these midterm elections this fall, you done screwed yourself. You done screwed yourself royally because.
Are you talking about Donald Trump? Or are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Mr. Hakeem Jeffries. If you went into this conversation with,
I want to make sure we're on the
Kushner, and you came in there with your cards in your hand, you're like, "This is what I got. Y'all gonna give me this? We gonna do this and we gonna do that." Too soon, man. Too soon. Too soon. You did it too soon. Now you've given them time to react. And maybe that was your intention the whole time, to give this Trump administration time to react and get their affairs in order before you drop whatever else you have in your up your sleeve. This has been to the detriment of the Democratic Party for years. Many years. Why do you continue to play that same playbook? I don't know. I'm saying this as an independent voter. Why play these old school tactic Democratic games with a new school Republican Party? I don't get, why would you do that?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And this is literally the definition of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
What you got to say, man?
I think I agree. I think it's pretty much. I think it's pretty much it's way too soon for all this, and I think it's. I think you pretty much screwed. I think you pretty much you hit the nail on the head, Tyrone. You really did. While we're on this topic, I do want to speak about something. That I've seen in the past week or so. What do you think about the White House press secretary stepping down?
Oh, I meant to talk about that a while back.
Caroline Leavitt.
With Caroline stepping out.
At the end of this month, like next.
I literally, the way I feel about it is, I get it. I definitely get it. Because in some way, Trump betrayed her a few weeks back when they were over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And he, quote unquote, ducked and hid away and left her and others
in the middle of it all.
Clear point blank danger. And it was a light bulb moment. Light went, aha! My value amongst you people is less than I thought. For you to not take me with you, let me know that I am not one of you. And therefore, I need to, you know what? I need to go ahead and get on out of here. That's one thing that I potentially saw. For the wake up call finally hit Miss Caroline on the head. The other thing that I potentially saw, some information came down to her about what is about to transpire September to the end of this year, early part of next year, that she was like, I just had a baby. I don't have no time for this foolishness. I'm out. Those are the two scenarios that I see hit Caroline in the head. Bloop. The light went from bingo, I have seen the light.
Okay, can I ask you another question? Okay, so who do you think's going to replace her?
Some poor sap that is not going to do as great. And she didn't do as good, but she's darn near survived a year and some change. And the next poor sap that gets in there is going to make a complete shit show that it is going to expose these guys' entire plans going into the second half of this administration's term, that it's going to be a catastrophe. And all he could do is, you fag, you fag, you fag, you fag, you fag, you over there, you fag. That's all you're going to be able to do. The mass firing and mass, oh, so-and-so just resigned. Oh, no, so-and-so just resigned. Oh, no, another one just resigned. The mass exodus is coming. Why? Because they weren't originally built for this. And this was a whole temporary situation in the first place, is how I feel about it. Like there after Caroline, there was a number of people that resigned already. And you just gotta sit back and like wonder, like, what is really going on over there? What do y'all really got going on over there? How are y'all gonna maintain this for 2 more years? You don't. You just sustain as long as you can take whatever you can with you on the way out and hope that you don't go to jail. That's one scenario. Or you completely rig everything into your favor. To where it will take another decade of investigations to uncover everything that you've done. Currently, the plan is the latter of the two. Stay in there, stay the course.
So let me ask you another question, Tyrone. So I have a lot of questions tonight, but let me ask you another question. So who do you think will take the who do you think will take the reins after Donald Trump gets out of office? For president.
President of the Republican Party.
Right.
The hard part is they want it to be JD Vance so bad, but he is such a piss poor candidate that it's not going to work. Mike Pence is gone. He's not going to go back. So, I know Don Jr. and Jared Kushner are people that they want to try and butter up to as the next in line to keep the Trump family name going. It's it's so bad, man. It's so bad. Like, the way I've been feeling about it for quite some time is government will not be government. It won't be ran in its original fashion to have this two-tier system party affiliation thing anymore. That's ultimately what my beliefs have been for quite some time, that there will not be a Republican Democrat governing body in the future. Like it I don't want to say it can't exist anymore, but based off of the deterioration of both parties, I mean, neither party is nowhere near once what they once were. Neither one. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. That's just the way it is right now. The Democrats are not the Democrats that were from 10 years ago in 2016. Hell, they're not the Democrats of 20 years ago, back in 2006. So, you know, and that's crazy to say. Like, both of these parties have undergone such identity shifts and crises in the last 20 years. Like, it's to understand that the United States governing body, when I'm talking about Congress, the executive branch, and judicial branches, in its current states of being, it cannot continue the way it is because, frankly, Trump has shown how vulnerable it is to manipulation. Both foreign and domestic. That's the funny part. That's the funny part right there. All you need is a weak-minded individual at the helm of all three. And bam, you have a recipe for disaster. Speaking of, like, the Supreme Court recently up and making decisions about the damn mail-in ballots. What? Knowing that the midterm elections are literally just around the corner. Like, literally.
When is the midterm election?
This November.
Oh, November? I thought I already had
Early vote starts in October. Which means
they got 60 days.
We're well under 100 days away from the decision of America's lives. And you have the United States president trying to challenge the legitimacy of mail-in ballots. And I thank God for this lady, because hearing it gives so much doom and gloom. But the way this young lady, she's a lawyer. She broke it down, and I personally wanted put out there to inform the people because the way it sounded like it's over. This is the end. Trump has won. Blah, 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 blah. Yaggity smackety.
Okay, so if you saw the headline saying that the Supreme Court just cleared the way for this administration to restrict mail-in voting, slow down, because that headline does not tell you the whole story, because I freaked out a little bit at first. Okay, so.
Shout out to Attorney Trotman on Instagram. You can follow her. She gives a lot of updates on what is going on legally, especially in the state of North Carolina.
Hey, y'all, Yolanda here. And listen, I'm popping on for this legal brief because with the midterms fast approaching, people need clarity and not panic. So here's what happened. The Supreme Court lifted an injunction that had blocked part of this administration's executive order involving mail-in ballots. But the court did not decide that that executive order itself is constitutional. The issue before the court involved whether or not the states that were challenging that executive order had the standing to bring that challenge at this stage. Basically, it's a procedural ruling. Is it still confusing? Yes. But this is not the same thing as a Supreme Court saying, yes, the president has the constitutional authority to do all of this. That's not what this ruling says. And there's another important piece I want y'all to understand. Now, the Postal Service had already finalized rules that said that states had to provide certain voter information, ballot-specific procedures, and these barcodes, and could potentially allow the post office to refuse delivery of ballots that didn't comply. But those rules are still blocked by a federal court order under a separate injunction right now. So what does this mean for you? Okay, let's keep it simple. Right now, follow the voting rules that are provided by your state and your local election officials. Please do not assume mail-in voting disappeared overnight. That's what they want you to think. And if you plan to vote by mail, early is your friend. Last minute is not. So for my North Carolina peeps, absentee ballots begin going out on September the 4th. The deadline to request one is October the 20th, and ballots must be received by 7:30 p.m. on election day. Regardless of where you live, here's what I need you to do. Check your registration. If you're going to do a mail-in vote, request your ballot early, track it, and pay attention to official election updates, because y'all know this litigation is not over. The Supreme Court removed one legal roadblock, but it did not resolve the constitutional question. And it certainly didn't magically solve the logistical chaos that could come from changing how millions of ballots move through the mail weeks before an election. So don't panic. Stay informed, get yourself a voting plan, and we have to have numbers that are so huge at these polls that the results cannot be challenged, despite what someone says. So follow for more. And as always, let's have the conversation.
Thank you, Attorney Trotman, for giving great clarity and understanding from the legal perspective on this subject matter, because I know for certain everybody out there, when they heard this, said Trump just won. It's not over, people. It's not over. And that, in my opinion, is what matters. The people still have control. The people still have a voice, as long as you continue to use it, as long as you continue to believe that it matters. The moment that you said, it doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, is the very moment that your vote will not count. Because you allow them to win when you do that. And once you allow them to win on it, hey, guess what happens? They will win. And, you know, hey, maybe, just maybe, we can turn this thing around. You know, we already know that the orange man wants to tear down the Kennedy Center because he can't have his name on it. At the same time, he's still trying to build this ballroom. Like, it's mad crazy outside. Mad crazy. Like, if you don't believe how crazy it is, I mean, it's so crazy that Dolly and Graham can say it's okay. She doesn't know national security because voters don't bring it up to her. Let that sink in for a second. She's saying that because y'all not paying attention to national security like that, it doesn't matter. And therefore, she doesn't have to be concerned about it as your potential senator representing you in Congress. If you don't think that's playing in your face, I don't understand it. But apparently people didn't care enough because she won the runoff in South Carolina. And is now on the ballot heading into the midterms. I mean, you can't make this up, man. You think I'm making it up, man? I'm not. This is our reality. Like, I mean, if you think I'm lying about it, no worries. I got you. Hold on. Stay right there. Just stay right there.
Senator Graham, you said last week that you weren't that informed on national security, but of course it is an important role as you are a U.S. Senator. What have you done in the last week to kind of catch up to speed on that?
You know what I've done in the last week? I've gone around this entire state talking to as many people as I possibly can. And you know how many of them brought up Taiwan or national security? Not one. They're talking about the rising cost of health care and affordability. So that's what's important to me.
Senator Graham,
Let y'all hear it one more time.
on national security, but of course it is an important role as you are a U.S. Senator. What have you done in the last week to kind of catch up to speed on that?
You know what I've done in the last week? I've gone around this entire state talking to as many people as I possibly can. And you know how many of them brought up Taiwan or national security? Not one. They're talking about the rising cost of health care and affordability. So that's what's important to me.
Y'all voted for this. Or y'all might not have voted for this. But she in there now. And I saw a post that I posted a comment on. My comment was, it's okay. They're going to surround her and support her and promote her the same way they did Sarah Palin. How many of y'all remember who Sarah Palin was? And she was a vice president candidate. That was just a few years back. She wasn't ready. Neither is Darlene Graham. But you know what? Hey. She sounds like a Graham. She looks like a Graham. She walks like a Graham and talks like a Graham. God by golly. She's a Senator Graham. And y'all are going to let her be your senator. At this point, it is what it is. I know I talked about it a lot tonight. People, I think I'm done because it makes my head hurt. Where she showed y'all who she was, and y'all was just like, oh, she's such a cute gram. Oh, she's just like Lindsay. I'm gonna vote for her. And it is what it is. One of the last things I wanted to talk about. Everybody been talking about it. Target is back in the news. Talking about playing in our face. Target has been playing in our faces for quite some time. The fact
Target will never financially recover from this. Because what do you mean they had a minstrel costume for sale online? This costume was for sale in their hide and eek boutique for Halloween, but not for long before they yoked it with the quickness. It's an item that was manufactured by and absolutely exclusive to Target. And yeah, go ahead, be that one person that tells me, no, you're crazy. It's certainly not giving Jim Crow. Go ahead. No, seriously, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, I'll wait. No, really, I insist. And I'm just sitting here dying to know what the working title of this costume was. Because you know the racist designers that put this together, you know they were calling it the Jim Crow clown. And unfortunately for them, I guess, since you can't put that out to the public, they decided to go with Blacklight Circus Clown and think that they were pulling the wool over our eyes. And speaking of fabric being pulled over eyes, who are the parents that let their kid do this? Because if he or she is white, this is blackface. And if they're not, it's almost worse. If Target didn't think it was bad enough when their sales dropped because they rid themselves of anything pride, anything LGBTQ related to appease the customers that really should just stay shopping at Walmart, do they think this is going to be any better? 2 years and what's about to be 2 boycotts. Target knew exactly what they were doing. And I kind of got to give it to Benny Blanco, because this guy really has his finger on the pulse of racist trends, doesn't he?
Target. Y'all don't want to win. You can't with stuff like this. You can't. It's impossible. There's no way. There's no way you guys want us back. There's no way. What I'm happy about is you did try to correct something. The fact that we know that there is a product manager somewhere in y'all rankings that green lights all new items that go on to your website and into stores had to approve this. That let me know that y'all not thinking over there at all. Y'all not thinking about anything but profits. To let this slip through the cracks. We've been telling y'all to count y'all days. I'm telling you now. Target, you got less than 10 years left on your contract in America. Until you do right by us. You're going to see your profits dwindle. You're going to see more stuff like that happening. And frankly, y'all not alone. Nope. Because Texas Roadhouse is on the chopping block now too. Among a few others. Why is Texas Roadhouse on the chopping block? Because there's a Facebook group out there.
Yeah, I've seen the Facebook group.
Of people championing doing the nastiest things to people of color. You know, I wonder, like, when I thought about bringing up this topic, I wonder, like, what really goes through your mind? You say you're gonna lick the person's steak and deliver it to them like you did nothing. And that's your way of getting back at them. Unless you have a STI, E. coli, or something that is transmittable. In my opinion, unless it is made known that you did that, only you will have the knowledge of said thing done to them. And guess what? Those persons go on with their merry old lives, living their lives the same way they came in before they interacted with you. So, what are you getting out of that? If every Friday this black family or brown family returns to the restaurant and every Friday you putting a little extra into their salad, you putting a little extra on their greens, you putting a little extra in their marinara sauce, and you tell nobody but these people in the group chat. What are you doing that is harming them mentally? That is going to cause them distress. All that time that y'all been in that group, you doing all these devilish things to people that have no clue that you did it. And therefore, the results, if the results was for you to have them not return to your store to get back at them for not leaving you a tip or a big enough tip, guess what? You did all that for nothing. To spit in somebody's salad and they then cover it up with ranch dressing and present it to them as a salad with ranch dressing and not say, oh, by the way, I spit in your salad because I don't like you. It's very cowardly to do first. Part two is it absolutely doesn't do anything because the person doesn't know that you did something. And so you're walking around puffing your chest. I got back at them. Ha ha ha. You wasted your time, your life, and everything. For what? And so now, oh no, they found out about this, is your reaction. I bet that will keep them from coming. Okay. You do know that's how you pay your bills, right? You do know that's how you have your medical insurance, and that's how you pay for your groceries and et cetera, et cetera. You do know if your restaurant closes, you are now unemployed. You do know that no one's going to save you then. You do know that all that effort into doing these things for a little bit of clout amongst your Facebook group was just a moment in the sun. Well, guess what happens after that? Reality sinks in. And upon reality, you'll realize that maybe you won't realize that this little moment of time that you're out here clout chasing will be more detrimental to you than it was to the person that you spit on their food. Because now your livelihood is in adverse conditions while this person continues on with their life. They continue working their job. They continue providing for their families. They go on to the next restaurant. Wow. You lose everything. And for what? For what? You're not winning. the way that you would get back at somebody is to be fully transparent and bold in telling them what you've done while doing it. But you don't want to do that because you know for certain the reaction will be instantaneous. You know that the cause and effect will be severe. But you do this anyway. It's a game to you. It's a adrenaline rush for you to say that, you know, that Mountain Dew has a little extra fizz in it that only I know is in there. And you sit back and laugh. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. So stupid. It's so cowardly crafted that you believe you're a genius when you're absolutely an idiot. Because I like how another gentleman's social media post put it. I believe it was Godfrey, the comedian Godfrey, put it. Y'all like going to those taco stands, don't you? Two can play that game. Y'all like going to get your nails done. Two can play that game. Y'all like going to get your hair did. Two can play that game. You guys love to get some soul food. Two can play that game. The way that this universe works with karma, what you put out will eventually come back to you. Just think about it, that one day when you least expect it, it come full circle back to you. That milkshake you got from the McDonald's that you love to enjoy might have a little extra in it. You love to go to Popeyes. Who's to say they didn't put something in your fries? You don't have to listen to me about it. I got somebody for y'all. Watch this.
400,000 nasty racist motherfuckers in a social media group talking about spitting in black folks' food. The cooks, the servers, the bussers, and they're all talking about this shit in these groups like they've been doing it for years. That shit's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I think it's time that black and brown people stood the fuck up and stopped giving their dollar back to these motherfuckers. Support black-owned and brown-owned businesses. Stop this motherfucking bullshit right now. This is how you stop it. And to all my brothers and sisters, if you see me dining in your fine establishment, do not treat me like them. I am not them. Do not spit in my motherfucking cornbread. Do not motherfucking put no extra seasoning on my pork chop. You hear me? Don't do that shit to me now. Fuck racism. End racism. We tired of this shit, man. We tired of this shit. The world needs to change.
Well said, my brother. Well said. This world needs to change.
Yeah, big time. And fast.
The fact that and for people to be like, nah, there ain't no more racism in America. America's never been racist. It's bullshit. This group of 400 people tells you racism is alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite alive and well. And when you have people in leadership roles that normalizes it, people then become emboldened to perform it. Until there's a pushback that harms them monetarily. What if by the 1st of next month, by Labor Day, hilariously, it would be funny. Labor Day is not on the 1st though, but by Labor Day, if everyone in this Facebook group was given notice of an unemployment, like TD, no, that's just going too far, man. No. The punishment fit the crime. Say you've been spitting in people's stuff for the last 5 years. I say let you be unemployed for 5 years. Unable to find place of employment for the next 5 years. Of course, you're going to be like, oh, it was those black people. Fault. Not your fault. Not the fact that you did this to them, and as a result, you lost your livelihood. Well, what am I going to do about my kids? Get some food stamps. Oh, wait. Donald Trump is making sure you can't. Why do you hate black people? Why do you hate Hispanics? That's always been my question. What did they do to you? You, specifically. If it's simply because of their existence in proximity to you, my Lord, how is it that they are the problem? That's just like you up and decide to move to a forest and say, man, I sure hate trees. And what's so funny about that is y'all people that would say you hate Mexicans, but would go to the Mexican restaurant to get tacos on Tuesday. It will say tacos are American food. From a Mexican restaurant. It's like saying, like the analogy I was presenting, you move to a forest, you put up a house in the forest, and then you say you hate trees. But the trees provide shade and oxygen for you. Clean air. They provide firewood for you in the winter. But you hate the trees. Make it make sense. Y'all love African American music, the hip hop, but hate the vessels that created. Y'all love soul food, collard greens, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, green beans, ribs, smothered turkey wings. Lord forbid y'all ever have a taste for oxtails. But hate the people who make it, who brought it here. America has a problem. And if you don't believe America has a problem, please explain to me how on earth are all these African Americans coming unalive, hung from trees? Please explain that to me. To say out your mouth, they say it was personally inflicted. How? Given the history of said exit strategy,
Tyrone, I have to go. Sorry about that. I have to go work. I got to take care of my friends.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me, man.
You're welcome.
But tell me, how do people who know the history of said personal history, you're saying that they personally chose that as their exit strategy? The issue with that is we're not getting the full story of what led up to it. In fact, most of the stories that we've been hearing is these people were happy with their lives and everything that has transpired, good, bad, and ugly. And all of a sudden, on a Saturday or Sunday or Friday or Thursday night, they decide just to hang out. No. Knowing the history of that particular way of exiting this earth in this country, to say, oh yeah, they did it to themselves with a straight face and no form of formal investigation. Absolute bullshit. Because, and I love this campaign slogan that's been going around. Black people don't hang themselves. Not in this country. Has never done that in this country. Because of the trauma that Black people have endured from that method of exiting this earth. Stay safe out there, people of color, because they are people that are out here that hate us, and we must learn to be aware. And stay vigilant. I hate to end this podcast on such a somber moment, but actually, I do have a lot of note to leave out for. Shout out to Sam Hodgson. Was the poster of this lovely song. And I feel like this is how you end the show.
Well, if I was gonna stage a coup in an upcoming election, what exactly would I do to safeguard my protection? I think I'd build myself a great big room with some strategic placement, and I'd put guided missiles on the roof and data centers in the basement. And in case they try to send the troops when I perform my little coup, I'd need a private army to be present when I stage it. But from there it's not too difficult, so let's not overcomplicate it. I'll just need a couple working years of solid degradation, and I'll see how far my party goes along before they question. I'd see how many citizens can die with no arrests. And
boy, oh boy, if this isn't the truth, trust me, this is real.
I'd stress test the balances and the checks of the Constitution before I stage my little insiders only revolution. And if I was gonna stage a coup in 2028, I think I'd set up a crypto coin through my family's estate, and I'd take billions in contributions from foreign heads of state. I'd take Qatari jets and make 3,000 insider trades, and then I'd have my sons invest in AI tech for guided drones and bombs, and start a peace in the Middle East and let the drones start data farming. And if I was gonna stage a coup, I'd nationalize elections, and I'd tell the people that I'm doing all of this for their own protection.
I mean, it sounds funny, but the reality, it is being spelled out, laid out for you, right there. The entire PowerPoint presentation plan for the future.
And I wouldn't leave the White House once the final ballot's cast. And when the election has been certified, I'd send my happy ass inside my brand new spanking ballroom, built to withstand any strike. And I'd have my private army ready with me day and night. And I'd call the Congress compromised. I'd say the court's been jeopardized. And once the country's paralyzed, I'd institute the right. Well, if I was gonna stage a coup to satisfy my ego, I guess I'd dress up like Jesus Christ and try to play the hero. And I'd tell the world to be afraid of all their friends and neighbors. And just like Jesus taught us, I would punish those who waver. And if I was gonna stage a coup, I'd prop up J.D. Vance. And once his campaign starts to lose, that's when I'd have my chance. I'd say the system has been rigged. Now it's time that we get rid of everything that I have been harmful to the truth. So say goodbye to the fake news outlets, adios to those who doubt it, sayonara to the green card scammers, au revoir to the foreign landers, chop the head off of Bernie Sanders, AOC and Biden's handlers. No more US as we know it, no more news or whistle blowing. Goodbye years of rigged elections, goodbye human rights protections, goodbye anyone who questions golden statues I've erected. Billionaires will all be smitten, all the while I'll just be sitting back to reaping all the profit and silence those who try to stop it. If I was gonna stage a coup to show the world how great I am, these are the things that I would do, my 2028 election plan. Well, if I was
2028 election plan by song. Well, beautiful people, it has been real. I've enjoyed being with you this evening. I'll say this. Like Dustin say, stay prayed up, stay vigilant, and stay in community, because isolation is the new road to death. Because isolation leads to you not being aware and not informed. Y'all stay safe out there. And if no one told you that they love you, I do. I love you guys. I bid you adieu. Good night. Definitely have a great rest of y'all week and weekend. And we'll see you on Saturday for Faithful Warrior Ministries. Peace.